Hi guys, welcome. Today I'm showing you how to make the best and the fudgiest chocolate brownies that you will ever make. And it's got a secret ingredient, so keep watching to know what that is. It's got a shiny, crisp and chewy crust with an ultra fudgy and moist center with pools of melting chocolate. Super easy, let's begin. You'll first preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Here I have some semi-sweet chocolate that I am going to chop into fine chunks like this. I like to use room temperature chocolate because it's so much easier to handle it, not only to chop it, but when we add it to hot butter later on, it'll melt really easily. So chop that, keep it aside, and then we'll start working with the butter. Now you can just use plain butter if you wish, but I like to go one step further and brown the butter. It adds such beautiful butterscotch nutty notes, and it's just one extra step that takes 5 to 10 extra minutes, and it is totally worth it. On a gentle heat, just continue cooking your butter and swirling your saucepan like this till it starts to brown and the milk solids caramelize. You will start to see the foamed butter and it'll start to brown on the surface. And while swirling the pan, you can keep a check on the change in the color of the brown butter. Keep an eye out, do not cook this on a high heat because it can go from brown to burnt very quickly. Once it has browned beautifully, you'll smell the nutty aroma. Take it off the heat and then weigh it into your bowl. We need 170 grams of brown butter. So I start off with 200 grams of butter because the water content evaporates as you're making the brown butter. Then into this piping hot brown butter, I'm going to add some cocoa powder and bloom the cocoa powder, which essentially helps release more intense chocolatey notes from the cocoa powder. I'll then also add some instant coffee powder, not to make it taste of coffee, it won't have that taste, but it will amplify the chocolatey flavor of the brownies. And then I'll add in the chopped chocolate, which is why it's very important for it to be at room temperature, because at this point, as soon as you add the chocolate into the hot browned butter, it will just start to melt immediately. You'll just keep stirring this with your spatula and you can see how glossy and beautiful that mix looks. And now it's time for us to add a secret ingredient here, which adds extra level of moistness to your brownies. And that secret ingredient here is sour cream. Just adding this one simple ingredient completely transforms the texture and flavor of your brownies. They are super moist and every bite just melts in your mouth and it tastes absolutely incredible. Whisk it until it's completely integrated into this melted chocolate mix and then keep it aside, because now we're going to start working on our eggs. So here I have 2 room temperature eggs. They each weigh about 50 grams, so we need 100 grams of eggs at room temperature. And then I will flavor it with some vanilla, and I'm also going to add a mix of caster sugar and dark brown sugar. The quantity of dark brown sugar is a lot more than the caster sugar. This again adds an incredible amount of moistness and chewiness to your brownie. The subsequent crust that forms when you whip your eggs and sugar together gives you that crackly shiny top, and the addition of this dark brown sugar really adds a layer of crispness and chewiness to the brownie. So when you bite into it, you get that crisp chewiness from the dark brown sugar, and then it just melts in your mouth with that moist fudgy brownie. As you've seen, I have whisked the eggs and sugars first for just about 10 seconds, and then because it's dark brown sugar and because of the molasses content in it, it starts to get really lumpy. So I'm going to break that apart and press it against the bowl to break apart the brown sugar. And then on the highest speed setting of my electric beaters, I'll whip this for about 7 minutes till it goes incredibly pale and fluffy and voluminous like this. This step is so important to give you that shiny crackly top. It's the combination of the dissolving of the sugars completely and the formation of this meringue that gives you that shiny crackly top I'll now gently add all of this whipped egg that we created into the melted chocolate mix and fold it first, just very gently. And then I'll let the electric beaters do the rest of the work. So with my electric beaters on a medium speed, I'll mix this for about 15 to 20 seconds until it's almost come together. It looks absolutely lush and smells incredible. And now I'm going to dump in the all-purpose flour. I have used a smaller quantity of all-purpose flour for that extra fudginess. If you want a cakier brownie, then you can add a little bit more of the all-purpose flour. But I love it this way. It just melts in your mouth. I'll just fold it gently with my spatula just so the dry bits don't fly all over the place, and then using my electric beaters on the lowest speed setting, I'll mix it for just about 10 to 15 seconds. You do not want to overwork the batter at this point and develop the gluten, so mix it only until you do not see any of the dry floury bits. Takes about 15 to 20 seconds, and look at that beautiful lush batter. It's almost ready. I'm just going to plop in a little bit of these chocolate chunks because I love the pools of melting chocolate in every bite. You can skip this or also add some chopped walnuts or almonds or any kind of nut of your choice. And all that's left to do is pour this into our baking tin. I have an 8 by 8 inch square baking tin that I have greased really well and lined one side with parchment paper. I'm going to use my offset spatula to level off the brownie batter and spread it out evenly. And now all that's left to do is pop this in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 25 minutes or so. A skewer or a knife inserted in the center should come out clean with just a few moist crumbs, but not any wet batter. Then you're going to let the brownies cool down completely and then slice into them. I personally love the flavor of these brownies when they are sitting in the refrigerator for an entire day. The flavors really develop. But as much as I love that, I really lack patience. So as soon as they cool down slightly, I cut into them and look at how stunning they look. They have that papery thin, shiny crust on top. And when you bite into it, it is crisp and chewy. And then you get into that fudgy center of the brownie with the pools of melting chocolate, and they just instantly melt in your mouth. I really hope you enjoy baking these. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. If you enjoyed this brownie recipe, you should definitely check out this other recipe that you can see on the screen. I'll see you in a future baking video. Until then, goodbye and happy baking!